Josh, the word of the week is conductor. Tell me a
Right.
little bit about that. You're a conductor yourself, so you must have some insight.
Yeah. Well, it goes back a few hundred years as music started to get more complex in the Renaissance. In medieval music, they needed somebody to kind of keep everybody together. So the conductor began kind of as a timekeeper. There were even conductors who, later on were beating like a staff into the ground, to keep the pulse. But as music continued to develop and got more complex and intricate, especially rhythmically, in the Baroque period, often you'd have the conductor would be the soloist at the harpsichord or a lead, violinist, and they would make sure everybody was staying together. As things continued to expand, especially in instrumentation, and get more complex, we get into the Romantic period. Expression was a huge element of that, and you had a lot of composers conducting the orchestras and the ensembles. And through that, I think that romantic conductor of somebody who's leading the emotional content, who's leading the interpretation, I think that's what most people see when they think of the word conductor.
Yeah, that's interesting too, because you bring up the fact that the word comes in, been around for a while. The first use I have of it in English is Middle English, and it comes in mainly, conductor, the word comes in mainly as like in a military context. And then I was starting to think, like, well, the word conduct, it's straight from Latin. And in fact, I don't want to be too corny, but like Mussolini even went by the title of Il Duce, and the Duce is that same root of conduct, that there was a military aspect to it. And then is there any sort of valence in the way you think about conducting as being militaristic? That just seems kind of harsh, but.
Well, I mean, in the band world, our military bands are some of the best bands in the world, and that is a system of, in terms of rank and the conductor, what's their rank, and the musicians and the ensembles there. But in the 1900s, there were a lot of conductors who were incredibly, just this authoritarian presence.
Sure.
And I, you hear stories, and of course I wasn't alive then, but there were some ensembles that tended to be led by fear and intimidation. Where you get this right or you're gone, and that has evolved a lot, and so that's not really the mindset. I mean, when I was a student in high school band, you would hear stories of some conductors, getting very angry and upset, and just in my lifetime, I've seen a lot of that fizzle out, and so there's another way to look at it, and how you can lead the group.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I remember being in band in high school too, getting erasers thrown at me from the conductor. There was this sense like, you fall in line, you must, submit to the authority of the conductor. But so how has that evolved for you today? I mean, being a conductor, how do you think your role is different?
For me, I feel like inspiration carries a lot of weight as compared to intimidation. So, for a lot of the students that I work with, and I was with a lot of students in band, in college, you see people kind of lock up when they're keyed out in a negative way. And so for me personally, I try to, you want to study the music, you need to know the music as best as possible. And you see that with our top conductors, I think, in professional bands, professional orchestras, choirs today. They know the piece at such a level that when they lead the group, they're inspiring everybody to come together and put on the best performance possible with the music's intent in mind. And that's another thing. High school is very different from middle school, which is different from college, which is different from professionals. And in the professional world, as a conductor, you can be on the podium and you'll cue a clarinetist to play a solo, and they've studied that solo for 25 years, and they have quite the opinion about it, and so it's I feel like informed inspiration is something that at least works, for me, and the more excited the group can get about performing something, people really give their all, and hopefully you can come up with a performance that inspires the audience as well.
Well, Josh, I hope we get to see you conduct sooner rather than later.
Yeah, me too.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Chad. Appreciate it.
Bye.